Esper Stoneblade.
When you look at Max's list here, pretty standard Lackey, Incinerator, War Chiefs, Pile Drivers, Matrons, War Marshal, Ringleader, no Goblin King in this deck, Tin Street Hooligan, which was not familiar in that deck, in the last one we saw.
Okay, so we started Max leads with a Lackey.
What a great start.
Yeah, the best start really. Like there's two starts you can really have with goblins that work. And the one's Lackey and one's Vile.
All right.
But Matt has a Swords to Plowshares.
Okay, to resolve that issue.
Okay. Max is able to play another 1-drop, which is a Vile.
Yes.
But Matt is able to play the deck's namesake, Stoneforge Mystic. Very likely getting a Umezawa's Jitte. Umezawa's Jitte is like brutal against goblins. Really allows him to stop any creatures of relevance to come into play.
Matt goes Stoneforge Mystic for...
Yep.
Okay. I missed the parts of it there.
Matt has another Stoneforge Mystic in hand, likely to go search for a Batterskull.
Alright, Max plays Cracked Fetch Land.
Okay, with can't really see what's in Max's hand here, but he's
another land.
Let's see if he has a yep, Goblin Matron.
Let's see what he searches out here.
It's very likely to be a Ringleader, I think, at this point, unless he already has a Ringleader in hand. Or it could be a Tin Street Hooligan, actually, because what the Tin Street Hooligan will allow him to do is to kill the Umezawa's Jitte that he knows that Matt Hoey searched out.
All right. Those of you just joining us, this is round 9 of 9.
So
Matt Hoey versus Max Tietze playing. Max Tietze is playing Goblins. Matt Hoey's playing Esper Stoneblade. This is the final round before we cut to the top 8 quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. Let's see what he searches out here.
Okay, he gets a Goblin War Marshal, which kind of implies that he probably has a Skirk Prospector in his hand. War Marshal actually like produces mana with a and in combination with a Sharpshooter, often like can kill a lot of creatures even before they can be equipped.
Okay, Matt played a fetch land and passed. Max Tietze took Aether Vial up to 2.
Let's see. With the Goblin War Marshal, if he has a Skirk Prospector in hand, so he's going to play the War Marshal almost definitely with that. Gets another Goblin. So War Marshal has the text whenever it comes into play or leaves play, you get a Goblin. So if you play the War Chief maybe, or a Incinerator actually is going to incinerate the Mystic.
He will tap and bring out the Batterskull in response.
Okay, so he went for the Batterskull rather than the Jittes. Must have. Unless he already had it in hand. Just trying to see. No, he went for the Batterskull.
Okay, crack another land.
What that it may imply also that he has a Tin Street in his hand, which if he does, actually means that he can kill the Batterskull right now, unless Matt has a counterspell. I believe he does not. 10th Street Hooligan? No, another.
Getting out more goblins out on the board.
Yep, so it's just passing. Interested to see why he decided to go for the Mog War Marshal. Now the Batterskull definitely gets to gain Matt at least 4 life. If he attacks, I would suggest that either Tietze lets it hit him or blocks with a War Marshal.
Okay.
Because he can't really afford to pay for the echo of both of these.
Plus, when he leaves play, he does get another goblin to put out in the field, so it's not like he's losing much. There's the Jit.
Yeah. Matt passes. Actually, doesn't have a 4th land. So I think he maybe did get the Jitte. He just already had the Batterskull in his hand.
Okay. Max deciding whether he wants to take this to 3.
If he takes it to 3, he has open to him another Matron or a War Chief. Okay, it looks like he's either deciding whether to pay the Echo for the Mog War Marshals. Goblins is really making a strong showing this weekend.
That's 1 in the top 8.
Yep.
This weekend by Anthony Eason.
And then Cedric Phillips, I see, piloted to 11th place. Like, missed 2 win-and-ins in the last final 2 rounds.
All right, looks like he paid for one of them.
Let one of them go.
And passed turn.
So,
no, he did not. I apologize. Taps 3. Another Matron.
Okay. It's very possible that he's going to go for a Incinerator here. Or, actually, no, he probably should go for 10th Street Hooligan or Incinerator, one of those two. He goes for 10th Street Hooligan. What it allows him to do is to break the Batterskull.
Right, 2. There it is.
See which one he just chooses to kill. And he just kills the Batterskull, and also the gem token dies as a result. Now it allows him to attack with almost of the creatures. He can attack with one of the goblins. One of the goblins has summoning sickness.
So that would be in for 4.
Yeah, just 4, all 1/1s.
Now that's where definitely a War Chief would come in very handy right here. Make that quickly 8 and take that clock even faster to win.
What? No. War Chief is the one that gives makes things cheaper.
Well, yeah, reduces the cost by 1.
Chieftain is the one that gives +1/+1. It's not really in Max's deck.
Yeah, he's not running the Goblin King either, like the other deck we just saw with goblins recently.
Yeah, I think Chieftain is kind of the big replacement for goblins. Getting haste seems to be a little bit more important than Mountain Walk.
All right, land by Matt.
Okay, so plays another Stoneforge. It's very likely. I don't know if he has another. He does. Yeah, I didn't think so. He does not have another equipment in his deck. He only has Batterskull and Umezawa's Jitte, but he plays it because he needs to have a body to equip to his Jitte. He's passing, presumably because he's a card in hand that he needs to cast. He has Swords to Plowshares in his hand.
I believe I saw in Max's hand a Wasteland.
I think he's probably going to play the Wasteland on that untapped Tundra. It's one of those things, I often think you should, in this situation, especially against a Wasteland deck, you should tap your Tundra. Keeping open a dual land really doesn't help that much.
It makes it a target.
Yeah. Forces you to tap your mana a little prematurely. So Max mulling over his options, and then has at least a Wasteland in hand, 3 cards in hand. We'll find out exactly what those 3 cards are. He didn't tick up his Aethervial this turn. It's looking at something for 4 mana. Could this be... he doesn't have any creatures at 4 mana, so he's wastelanding something. Wastelanding the Tundra as we talked about.
Yes.
He's added a white to his pool, I believe.
All right.
He's tapping 4 mana to see what's the 4 mana. 4 mana's Ringleader, of course. Yeah, my bad. It's the only 4 mana spell in his deck. If it would be good to be able to see those cards, they are off screen.
Aether Vial.
Yep. There is a Sting Scourger and something else. I think he might have. I don't know. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see what the. He has a. Okay, so he has a War Chief, which will allow him to. Really doesn't do anything right here at the moment, mainly because everything else has no summoning sickness or he has haste.
But he will be able to swing in for quite a large amount here.
Yeah, a lot of 1/1s and 2/2/2s.
So Stormforge will be able to take out one of those 1/1s.
Yeah, I'm interested to see why he chose the amount of creatures he did. He chose, like, my guess is he's kept 3 creatures on to block because it basically means that he can triple block Stoneforge Mythic with a Jitte and can't be blown out by like something like a Source to Plowshares or anything like that.
Okay.
Still a very curious set of matrons from Max Tietze.
Looks like we have Jace, Shorts to Plowshares.
Matt Hoey sacks his Marsh Flats.
Down to 13.
Probably looking for a scrubland here. Grabs a scrubland.
Okay.
Getting his black mana finally.
Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, he's plowing the War Chief, which is really the only creature that has relevant text. Blocks a Goblin token, takes 4 damage, goes down to 9.
Yep.
He's now able to equip the Jitte, but if he attacks, he's gonna basically get triple blocked. He kills 1, and then still actually has a lot of goblins to be worried about right now.
Yeah, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will be another 6 points of damage. Unless Matt has something.
Matt is
Snapcaster Mage that just throw out there to block, maybe.
Well, he has 2 counters on his Jitte that he can still
2.
use. He can still use those to take down some creatures. He may not choose to, though, deciding that he may save them for more utility goblins.
Okay, looks like Matt is stepping away from the chair for a minute.
He may be just asking a ruling or maybe just a quick bathroom break.
All right. Well, in the meanwhile, let's talk about what we were given a little earlier. We were talking about the Invitational Qualifiers.
Yeah.
Anyone that qualifies for the Invitational Qualifier until the end of this year can play either in the one that you're going to be doing.
Yep, in LA.
In LA, or any Invitational in 2013.
Okay.
What a great thrill it is. Invitational Qualifiers are basically happening every weekend, all over the country.
Yeah, and you're able to play in this event here, or event quite like it. It's going to be a $75,000 event, $15,000 to first place. Get to play some terrific Magic, two great formats.
I know I'd like to be going to LA. I'm telling you, that's a good place to go. All right, looks like Matt is back. He did ask to judge a question about something. Let's see what Matt's. I do see the Snapcaster Mage in his hand.
Yeah, he has a Snapcaster and a Jace in hand. 2 cards. But it looks like Matt decided to not to take the damage. Didn't use his Jitte counters. Maybe saving them for some life. That goes down to 2. Jace is not really that useful right here. It's got too many creatures on table. Snapcaster, I think he's going to want to flash back a Source to Plowshares.
No, he's going to play Snapcaster now.
Oh, he's just going to play it. He's going to play it as basically an Ambush Viper to allow him to get 4 counters here. Now, if he gets 4 counters, it's effectively on 10 if he wants to be on 10, or can kill some goblins should he wish to do that too.
Okay, taps back.
Max should be at 18.
Right. Looking at the board, going,
Yeah,
take out how many of my goblins and how much life could he get instead?
Yeah, I think he's trying to work out like why that he didn't really kill some guys the last turn. I think he might be just playing a little defensive, making sure that he has some life. But without killing those guys, he's really kind of like mortgaging a little bit on his life, costing him one now, but 2 later.
Looks like he's gonna swing it. Well, no.
I think he's going to. The Sting Scourge is still in hand, but it's not. Snapcast is not really something you want to Sting Scourge.
But it's almost like he wants to send in. Oh, he's gonna send them all in. Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna kill 4 guys maybe. Oh, he's gaining 6 life, going to 8. Basically nullifying the attack because he gained 6 life, did 6 damage.
All right.
Let's see what Max is playing a land here.
Avernus Souls, naming goblins.
Looks like he's probably going to play Sting Scourger.
Correct.
Yeah, so has no problem bouncing bouncing that.
All right, and another Aether Vial.
Yeah, so Max really doesn't have a lot of creatures here.
So he plays the Snapcaster Mates back before the end of his turn.
Yeah, doesn't really effectively do too much other than unequip Snapcaster Mage, which is worth 2 mana. It's very possible that Max is thinking of chumping with the.
Oh, looks like he took it.
He's going to take it. It goes up to 3.
It says go.
Now Max, who has no cards in hand. I'm really curious on how, like, Matt basically using the counters to gain life rather than to kill guys, because like it's really just costing him later.
Okay, swings in with. He's going to Sword of Plowshares the 2.
Yep. Still attacking for 6 at the moment. And so he gains 6 again. Attacking for 6. Maybe he's using the Jitte to fog again. The it doesn't really seem like a race that he's winning. Okay, so he's gaining this life 1 at a time, and then eventually, well, so he gained 4, and kill the matron, going to 1.
Okay, we see a Force of Will in his hand. Jace the Mind Sculptor.
I think the life totals are off. Oh. Okay, so.
Okay, out comes Jace.
Jace is bouncing a token.
Well, these life totals are right. Matt is stabilizing here.
Yeah, he's absolutely stabilizing.
And we were under the impression of something completely different. Okay, Matt took his second Aether Vial up to 2, so he's currently got 1 at 2 and 1 at 3. He's got the Cavern of Souls.
No, he's at 1. Okay, so
okay.
So he's able to gain 4, but he's getting dealt 4. So he still remains at 1, but in this case, Jace, he's trying to work out whether he needs to kill Jace the Mind Sculptor. And if he kills Jace, he basically allows, 4 life, and he almost has to send all his. I guess he can send 2 to the 1 to the face and 2 to Jace.
Let's see what happens here.
Basically, the 1 to the face has to, he either has to gain life or shoot down the creature, and then he has to make the same choice with the. If he sends 2 to the face and the Sting Scourger to Jace, he actually has to gain life and let Jace die. Okay, so. So it looks like it's 3 at Jace, 1 at Matt. 1 at Matt means he needs to gain life with 1 of the counters, so he goes to 3. Jace he lets die.
Okay, it buys Matt another turn.
Matt actually goes to 2 life. Matt really has played this fairly curiously, like Inquisition, not Pile Driver. Pile Driver is huge here. Anybody really is big, but like Pile Driver is particularly big because it has protection from blue.
All right.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how that ended. Like Matt basically started using the tokens for life way more aggressively than I expected. Didn't sit back on his Stoneforge Mystic to block. Not sure exactly how that worked out. I mean, I'm sure he had a plan on his side, but it just seemed to get worse and worse and worse. And Max didn't really develop board too much other than with 1/1s.
Yeah, and we said earlier he got those out to get them out there, and they were the difference at the end. Well, let's talk about a little bit about what Matt Hoey can bring in here against Goblins to help his cause out a little bit here. Yeah,
he generally will bring in the engineered explosives. He probably will bring in the lingering souls. I'm a fan of actually bringing in a Thoughtseizes actually, because I think that they have, especially on the play, they have a lot of crucial turn 1 plays that you need to stop. And I would probably bring in the Path to Exile. Those are the cards that I think that, make the big difference.
Okay, well, Max has Red Elemental Blast in the sideboard.
Yeah, I think Red Elemental Blast seems like a reasonable thing to bring in here. There's not actually that many blue cards in this deck, but there is Jace, there is some counter magic, there is Snapcaster and Vendilion Click. It's probably worth it, but it doesn't really get a lot of the cards that he's worried about.
Okay,
other than that, I think that there really isn't anything. Well, it's possible he could consider bringing Pyrokinesis, but Pyrokinesis doesn't really do a lot. It does the one thing it does do is it stops Stoneforge getting equipped, and sometimes you just need to have a free card. And Goblins is actually one of the best card advantage engines, especially with Ringleader and Matron. So he may just have the extra red cards to throw away to Pyrokinesis and keep Stoneforge Mystic, Click, and Snapcaster Mage off long enough to get his guys through.
All right, well, both these guys are shuffling up here, going through their process of getting there. You think, okay, so then we're going to go with that. Esper Stoneblade on the play, without really a first turn drop.
Yeah, no.
Outside of Inquisition.
It has Inquisition and Thoughtseized, and then has another Thoughtseized in the sideboard. So going first is actually super important for the simple fact that he can have a plow for the first turn lackey and still be able to cast Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic is pretty much the entire game, and I think for some reason, like it just played out very awkwardly for Matt Hoey. He was a little bit short on mana, a little bit kind of like felt like he was getting overwhelmed a little bit by the 1/1s. It seemed like it should have been a game that Matt could have like pulled back had he played a different way.
Well, we'll see how in Game 2 this plays out. For those of you just joining us, we are in the final round of the Legacy Open. Before we break to the top 8 in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, all which will be played tonight in front of you. This is Matt Hoey playing Esper Stoneblade, currently down 1 game to Max Tietze, who's playing Goblins. Matt Hoey will be on the play.
Yeah, Matt only had a Plains as his only land. Had Brainstorm and stuff like that, but had no way of like really getting more land.
Well, it looks like both of them are going to reshuffle here, as Max also will go down to 6.
I generally like the Stoneforge Mystic when both players mulligan. The Goblins really want Lackey, and they really need Matron to go get Ringleader. But the only card that really matters for Matt Hoey is Stoneforge Mystic. If he can draw that, that is 90% of the strategy he needs to pursue.
Now let's see what happens here. Matt has offered up the shuffle. They will both. Matt cuts. Max does a quick shuffle and a stack. All right, let's see what they both get with 6 here. Looks like at least 2 lands. Jace the Mind Sculptor, but there's your Stoneforge Mystic,
yeah,
like you said, and a Sword of Plowshares.
Yeah,
like also.
Looks like he has a Dust Bowl. Dust Bowl is actually a really, really interesting addition to this deck. Oh wow, it leads with a Dust Bowl, presumably to try and avoid getting irrelevant land wasted.
Okay, first turn Goblin Lackey off of Cavern of Souls.
Yep, so he searches for a white producing land, probably a Tundra, and just to save on the searching, he also gets the Batterskull at the same time.
Well, it's nice to have top out there right away, and the Mystic. I mean, Matt can basically now start tuning the hand to the way he wants to. He's got the blocker for Lackey, so Lackey cannot get through unless Matt comes out with some way of getting past it.
Goblins does not have a great way of like actually killing a 2 toughness creature on turn 2. Like, its removal spells are basically just Incinerator. Its other option is basically to have Pyrokinesis, which is actually, this is the exact situation where I think Pyrokinesis is not unreasonable.
Right.
The big problem now with for Max is that his mana suppression is basically not that useful. He can tap a land, but like Stoneforge Mystic can basically put into play a piece of equipment at instant speed.
Goblin Pile Driver there.
So in upkeep, Matt Hoey is going to use his top.
We did see a Brainstorm.
2 Brainstorms actually. 2 Brainstorms and something else. 2 Brainstorms and a
Snapcaster Mage.
Snapcaster Mage. It's not the most exciting. He's going to lose one of these cards because he only has one other land, and it's a sack land, and he definitely wants to sack his land this turn. So he's probably going to take a Brainstorm. But he won't actually get to abuse it as much as possible because he really actually needs to crack that polluted delta this turn.
And he passes back. Okay, Max plays a fetch land, takes himself down to 19. Plays
Okay.
land.
Yep, gets a tiger.
Shuffles up here.
Super important that he has an incinerator in hand. If he has an incinerator, he gets himself out of some of the problem, but he still has to deal with the Batter Skull.
Alright, let's see what he does here.
Actually, it's probably incinerator is probably not as good as it needs to be here. Let's see what he's looking at here.
Tap 2 at the cavern for
Mog War Marshal, and then playing Skirk Prospector. Skirk Prospector is actually super important in some of the situations. If Max is able to get out a Goblin Sharpshooter, he's able to ping down everything. So it looks like, I think, yeah, he's going to sack with his Polluted Delta, fetch a land, play the Batter Skull as an instant.
It's amazing with 5 goblins on the board, and he just can't seem to go anywhere with them.
Yeah, no, he actually, Max is in a lot of trouble. I mean, none of his creatures really kind of make an impact except for a Goblin Pile Driver, and the life gain from the Batter Skull is going to give Matt a lot of time, and he can just continually bounce it to his hand. If he does, he is able to kill the germ.
Okay.
He really wanted to draw land there, really, and he did actually. So I saw a Marsh Flats. He's going to
swing in with the Batter Skull.
Yes, the reason why it's important is he's got a Jace the Mind Sculptor in hand. I think he has a Path to Exile in hand too. It's one of those premium ones that you can get from playing Friday Night Magic.
All right, there's the land, like you said.
Yep. So there's the Marsh Flats, likely searching out anything really, so he can play that Jace the Mind Sculptor. Is he letting it go? Okay, so I guess he's. The reason is he's probably going to give himself a little bit of searching with top, while still having the Path to Exile.
I think I saw in Max hand before he lifted up a Goblin Matron.
Goblin Matron's big here, obviously. Best thing can do right now is search for a Tin Street Hooligan to deal with the Batter Skull.
Yeah, it worked well last game for him to do that.
Absolutely.
I believe Max asked Matt how many cards he has in hand. He shows 3.
Siege Gang as well.
Yes.
Oh, Incinerator. You can incinerate the token. So it incinerates the germ.
I've experienced. I did not change.
Matt in response.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he really does anything in response.
Okay.
Just lets it happen.
Yeah. Matt will play Brainstorm?
Yeah, I think he's just playing Brainstorm to play it, rather. I don't think, I mean, you can't force a will it.
Force of Will, Stoneforge Mystic.
And Inquisition. Actually, really good draw there. Like, gets to get rid of Jace, which actually is not very good right now. We'll let the germ die. Max will draw a card.
Okay.
The second Stoneforge Mystic is like really good because like Matt really needs to get the Umazawa's Jitter to start taking over this game. He needs to be able to clear out some of those goblins.
Yeah. Real quick, you can get rid of those goblins. Okay. Max looks like he's going to swing here.
So there's a path to exile, almost 100% getting cast here on that pile driver, and the rest, like that lackey is not going to get too much further as well.
No, you can't let that lackey through right now.
Okay, there's a path. That guy's going farming in the mountains.
Okay, there's a 4th land for Max. Goblin Lackey should die also.
Max is fast losing this game. Like the Batterskull will get picked up, get put down again with Stoneforge Mystic. He's gonna like top here. Doesn't really like it anyway. Didn't want those cards. Sacks his Marsh Flats. Max really doesn't have a lot of cards in hand. Matt has a Inquisition in his hand, probably going to clear out the last threat. I think it's a Matron in his hand here.
Correct.
It's kind of like acting as like a Matron's in play, and Matron's super important, obviously, because as we said before, he's going to be able to search for a Tin Street Hooligan.
Okay, let's see. He will again off the top. Look at the top 3.
Yeah, he's
does not like that either.
They're not very good.
No.
Force of Will, 2 lands, doesn't do a ton here. It's okay. His hand, he's already got a Stoneforge Mystic to shuffle.
Here we go, and we will see.
Okay, has 2 Siege Gangs and a Matron. That Matron, get out of here. He really doesn't want to lose his Batterskull to a Tin Street Hooligan the next turn.
And currently only has 4 mana.
Yeah, so
Siege Ganges now don't do anything.
So Matt has seen the cards on top of his deck, didn't like them. Doesn't matter. He's going to shuffle. Umazawa's Jitte is going to appear in his hand. Oh, hold on, goes into play. No, it doesn't. Not yet. Next turn.
Yes.
Oh, he's just going to hard cast it right now.
Okay.
Doesn't need to use that flashing ability in play.
All right. Looks like Max did not draw.
He doesn't actually need a land. He does have a Skirk Prospector.
Oh, that's right. The Prospector goes
So he will be able to cast at least 1 Siege Gang with the Prospector.
Okay, and there it goes.
Yep. Matt is now under siege.
But Matt's still with 18 life. Batterskull, Jitte, 2 Stoneforge Mystics on the board.
Those Jittes are not going. That Jitte is not going to help the situation for Max. Plays Academy Ruins. I don't think there's anything particularly interesting. He doesn't have the Engineered Explosives. I don't know if he definitely brought it in, so he has access to it.
Pass turn.
Yeah, he's going to pass the turn because he could actually pick up Batterskull and replay it whilst keeping all his creatures up.
Okay.
So Max still has another Siege Gang, and to be honest, the Siege Gang is going to give him a lot of options. He can start like mowing down some of the Stoneforge Mystics.
All right, so he will tap.
Yeah, I'm almost of the opinion that he probably should have equipped up with the Jitte, get the Skirk Prospector off the table, because like Skirk Prospector is the thing that really is giving Max the opportunity to cast all these spells.
Yep.
It's nothing like some free mana goblins.
Let's see what he does here.
I think he's going to attack with his tokens with the intention basically of sacking the ones that get blocked. Okay, so he's not attacking. Really just kind of like being a little passive for my taste. Source of Plowshare is actually a really, really good card to have here because it allows him to get rid of the Prospector, who's giving plenty of options.
Okay, it looks like he's now going to...
He's playing the ability first. In response to playing the ability, he's going to return to his hand. It doesn't really make a difference how he does this, but you know.
Okay, there it is. Alright, he untaps. We know he's going to draw the sword here. Plowshares. Swings in.
Okay. He's definitely going to sack the goblin to shoot one of the Stoneforgers.
There you go.
Basically denying Matt Hoey the lifelink life from the Battle Skull.
All right. That seems unsure
Yeah, no,
what's going on.
I was informed by one of our crack crew that timing the Stoneforge was really important last round, because if he returns the Battle Skull first, Max can respond and kill both Stoneforgers, meaning that he couldn't put it down on the same turn.
Okay.
It's getting late.
Here we go. Swords of Plowshares in his hand. Tapped mana for it. Getting rid of
Yes.
Prospector.
Yeah, the Prospector is the most important card right now. It's giving a lot of options here. Okay.
Shoots down the other Mystic.
It's probably time for him to equip that. It doesn't really help here, him equipping the Jitte, because like I would say that almost 100% chance that his Germ is going to die next turn.
Well, if he
he's returning. I'm not sure exactly what he's tapping for. Oh, he's Dust Bowling probably the port. Well, no, maybe the Tiger, because what it means is he doesn't have 2 red to kill the Germ next turn. If he draws a mountain, obviously that's not the case, but certainly right at the moment, pretty good play to see that right now. But he does the second mountain. Doesn't matter at all.
Ironically.
Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. He had Tin Street Mulligan. Was able to play it with green from the Cavern of Souls.
Swings in.
Yeah, no, this game is got out of hand really fast.
5. Here's the Goblin Lackey.
Basically wants to be able to play that. Knows what's cards in hand.
Oh.
Max Tietze makes top 8, defeating Matt Hoey.
Congratulations.
Matt was definitely just in a little trouble there. Just couldn't ever really keep anything on the table. Did draw all the cards he needed. Like he drew